it may not be that she don't know the reason why, but at the end of the day, we have someone that we could get that answer from to say, like we have the email in response to say, oh, this agenda item didn't make the agenda.
I have two things. One, I don't think it's fair for us to set the city secretary up like this because she's not always the one doing the agenda, because sometimes the clerks are typing the agenda as well. So until we can get established who's actually gonna be responsible for typing up the agenda, I don't think it's fair to do Ms. Johnson that way, because she might not type it that month. Ms. Cortez might be typing it. So it's a whole lot of confusion. So why don't we move this to our training that we're gonna be having on February the 11th with Mr. Zach, so we can get more clarification and get it set in stone as to what needs to happen.
I can only say, I mean, you have to do it anyways because it's an ordinance change, and when you do ordinance change, they actually have to write it out and flush it out. So I mean that makes sense. But I do know we do have that RFQ for city secretary, and so I do want to have some of these things established so that there isn't confusion whenever he or she, gets a position.
And it also goes back to like job descriptions. So I know that I wasn't trying to put extra upon Ms. Johnson's plate, but it's like, who do we turn to do the agenda? Who do we do these in-house things? It shouldn't be if it falls underneath Ms. Johnson that someone else is doing that duty or role. But I get a motion to.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we table item number 7, discussion and possible action on policies for submission and processing of agenda items by city council staff to the workshop on February 11th.
Second.
It's been probably moved and seconded that we move item agenda number 7 to the workshop for February 11th to February 11th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed have the same right. Motion passed.
We did do 8, so now we're at 10.
Discussion and possible action regarding the approval of resolution requesting the designation of corporate extension agent for the local region.
Okay, so I gave every council member should have 2 things. One, should have the draft of the resolution, and it should have a packet from the co-op extension. Make everybody get that real quick. There we go. Yeah, so first, if you go to so if you go to the resolution, so I've been in contact with Mr. Jimmy Henry of the Co-op Extension Program. He came to my class to get my master's in community development. They was talking about all the great things that extension agents from the Co-op Extension Program do for all these different counties, and I asked him, do we have one for Prairie View? And he said no. So I asked him, why not? And he said because Prairie View hasn't requested extension agent. So I've been in contact with him and Judge Duhan because they work through the county. And Judge Duhan said that if we can pass a resolution, he will put it on the county commissioner's resolution. And so what are the benefits of an extension agent? And if anybody wants it, I can send it to them as well. It's a packet about everything that the co-op extension program does. Let me go through a couple things that they do. They have a homeless veteran program, disaster working training, an energy audit program. They help with making energy efficiency within housing. They do small business development. So they have a lot of different programs that they are affecting positively for a lot of other counties. And so this is just the first step if we pass the resolution. And I'll also get over to the attorney to just make sure that the language is right. That if we pass the resolution, I could get over to County Judge Duhan to put on his Commissioner's Court agenda.
Councilman Williams?
And what would the, Commissioner's Court need to do?
So, Jimmy Henry said, where they work through the county, then they go to cities. So, if there was a city in the Dallas area, they'll actually go to Dallas County first, and Dallas County, would have to approve of an extension agent within that county, and then that extension agent does his work toward the city.
Because the reason I'm asking is, I'm trying to understand why Trey Dugan would take it to Commissioner's Court about a corporate extension agent when Waller County has one. So I'm just trying to understand, would they be willing to pretty much, that would mean we would have kind of like two. Because you have one in the city of Prairie, and then you have one that's already housed in Hempstead, at the extension office up there, which is Clara Walker. So I'm just trying to understand, how is that gonna help the city of Prairie? I mean, is it something that's gonna actually happen? Or is it something that has to go through a whole bunch of steps for them to come back and say, hey, y'all, we got an extension agent in Walker?
Yeah,
in Hempstead.
so right now, if you talk to, the co-op, the Prairie Co-op Extension Program isn't the one that's particularly with Waller County. I think that's another one. The one in Prairie View, when I talked to Jimmy Henry, they said that right now that they're trying to get money for their budget allocated, but right now there's not anyone specifically for the city. So I don't know what other extension programs that the county may be working with, but the one at Prairie View, when I spoke to Jimmy Henry specifically, doesn't have one that's located for this area.
Well, the city of Prairie View has never had one, but the one in Hempstead, when they had good ones, and they placed them in the extension office in Hempstead, always worked well with the city of Prairie View. So they've gone through some changes, and so for a long time, it was a vacancy in Hempstead at the corporate extension office, but I understand now that position has been filled. So it's never been a hard thing for us to do, which was work with the county extension in Hempstead. It's been vacant, so, but, okay. I just wanted something.
No, that's fine, and I could also bring Jimmy Henry, just to explain furthermore at a later date. That way, if there's any extra questions, especially when it comes to programs and type of things they can do for the city, all those questions can be answered straight from the source.
Councilman Brian Rowe?
The resolution that you're asking us to pass, this is just the beginning part of a 10-step process. This is step number 2.
Yeah, so first one, we're just talking to Jimmy Henry, just to make sure they even have the budget, and the ability to do it. He said yes, it's just that, right now with the extension program, the last guy that approved, he ended up retiring, and another guy came in, so there was kind of a hiccup in trying to get everything together, but the newer guy his name is Eric Zimmerman, he's been solidified in that position, and so Jimmy Henry just said that before they even talk about like really marking out a spot in their budget, they want to know if Prairie View even wants one.
And so this resolution does that.
Right, this resolution just says yes, we are in favor of it, and then that's when County Judge Duhan and Commissioner's Court can also approve the resolution afterwards.
And the attorney, excuse me, and the attorneys looked at it.
I talked to Zach about it. He said, wait to see what the city council says, and then I'm gonna send this and the correspondence with Judge Duhan over to him so he can continue to look over it in this process.
So this is, so you're trying to see the action that you wanted us to take. Was it just discussion and then we're gonna actually bring this back to vote on to move forward, or what action did you want from us?
So I actually wanted to actually vote to approval of the resolution.
But we don't have it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's in the package.
Oh, it's tied in that package. No, I have that, but then you said the attorney didn't look at it. So you wanted us to approve it if the,
No, I sent it over to him.
okay.
So I guess what I'm saying is, so I already talked to him about the resolution with the city. I sent it over to him. He just wanted to see what we thought about it before we started moving forward.
Councilman Williams?
My other question is, have we had a discussion with any of the citizens to find out what they want as far as a corporate extension agent, or what they feel is a need for the city of Prairie View before we do this resolution? Have we had any input any of the citizens or anybody about, what we're looking for, because we know we have farm families, we know we have families that do watermelons, we have families that do corn, we have all these families that do all these different things. So have we had an opportunity to speak to any of them to see what their interests are, or?
Yeah, that's fine. So my ideology between this was after we had the resolution, if it got passed, I was gonna have Jimmy Henry come over and do a workshop with everybody.
First.
Yeah, have Jimmy Henry come and talk to everybody, have a workshop, and let them know exactly what are the opportunities that we have before we officially move forward. This is just for them to even think about even trying to carve out space in the budget, for the city of Prairie View.
Is it, well, I don't know if you would like to see that if the citizens or the community wants it before they even try to carve out the budget. But Councilmember Wallace,
I'm always.
I mean, Councilmember Brown.
So, are there any financial obligations for the city on this?
No.
This is state funded?
Yeah, they're
State funded?
funded. But, of course, with the citizens, I mean, like I said, my goal was, to, after they get approved resolution, then have the community meeting to talk about it, just as I'm doing with Protective Village, as we did it with the Waller County interlocal agreement. But, I mean, if it is the will of the council to table it until later and then have the community meeting beforehand, that's fine. It's just that I don't know how long of a process it will take. So if the citizens get approved, then we can get the ball moving instead of waiting a whole 2, 3, 4 weeks.
I mean, I guess my question would be, is it not possible to move forward and then have this person, have his responsibilities be shaped around the needs of the citizens? It's possible for him to be in position and then meet numbers, because like, I don't, there's no financial burden on the city. I don't see how or where the strain will be on the city. So I believe this position is gonna be nothing but an addition to, with no financial obligation. So he or she can learn about the needs and the scope of the city while they're already in position out of that.
Yes, and like I said, he works at the co-op extension program within the city of Prairie View, so it's not that we just approve it and he just starts making changes. It is pure like discussion, talk, conversation before moving forward.
Councilmember Brown.
I move that the Prairie View City Council, the city of
I
Prairie
said
View,
I saw already.
approve having an extension agent for the city of Prairie View through the Prairie View Cooperative Extension Program to cooperate on a future project and that benefits the city of Prairie View.
Second.
It has been probably moved and seconded in written.
I have it right now. Because I think we may not have, we don't know for sure if we will not have a cost. I understand what he's saying, but where would this person be housed? Where would his office be? Would he be on campus at the extension office? Would it be here at City Hall? I mean, he's saying there's no cost, but there has to be something.
There's no
The
such
reason he's
thing
gonna
as a
be
free ride.
in the city, and I don't wanna assume anything. I don't wanna assume, no, it's not gonna cost us nothing, no, he's gonna be housed on campus in Cooperative Extension. We don't need to assume, we need to know for sure
Facts.
exactly what is gonna happen with this individual. I think it's a good idea, but I'm still saying, we don't wanna do all of this, and then, in order for it to happen, we have to kinda make some things happen as well, so that was my.
So I want to say to that, so when I talked to him, I mean, and just straight from the source that he said there will be no financial obligation as there wasn't to any other counties or cities. But if for comfort for you and the citizens, I'd be willing to have him come here and just talk about, so y'all can ask him any questions y'all want as citizens, as council members, just for further clarification, because I know that y'all want, just make sure all the P's and Q's are there. I'm fine with that.
It has been moved and, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, have the same right.
Nay.
Any abstention? Motion passed.
I think,
Well, I guess we'll go, department reports, administration, Ms. Johnson, do you have anything for us?
No, not at this time.
JJ's not here, just recording. Did Judge step out, or is she gone?
Yes.
Actually, I submitted my report
Last time.
the last time. If y'all have any questions, I'll entertain your questions. No questions?
We just wanna show, you know,
Okay, yes, sir, I submitted it last.
You gave us a report about the FEMA. Can you give us an update on that?
I can give you a brief update on that. Okay, so we have about 8 projects. 6 of those projects have been approved and obligated, but we have not received any funding, and we haven't gotten any notification that funding is coming yet, but they have been obligated. One of them is held up for review, and then there's another one, which is the direct administrative costs, where at the end of the project, I fill out a timesheet for all of us who worked on the FEMA recovery. And so then the city is entitled to recovery for the amount that we expended for administrative costs.
Thank you, you do amazing work.
Thank you.
thank you, Judge.
Police report. We good, Chief?
We gave our report last council meeting.
Ordinance violations report, Go Officer White, Ms. Williams.
I submitted a copy of my report to you guys if you have any questions.
Ms. Williams, do you have anything?
Thank you.
Thank you. Public, I have a question for Public Works. I know they're not here, but we have a deadline that's about to, that we have coming into, so have we heard anything, or is that something that we can get some updated? We have
We have a couple of deadlines coming up that you might be referring to. One is we need to do our floodplain maps in February, and the other is the EDA grant, or either of those what you're talking about.
But,
Those are,
we need to do those two, but we're even talking about, we have a temporary contract, well, we have
Emergency contract?
we're in a temporary contract with USW, that I think expires in like, it was 90 days, right? And then we're supposed to be setting up the RFQ to go out for bid for the entire,
I apologize, now I know what you're talking about, yes. And Attorney Zach said at the next city council meeting as well.
alright, just what I.
Sorry, it took me a second to,
And then, well, we did get the report in our the mayor forwarded a report from
From,
USW.
Yeah.
The question is, do you know, well, do you know if we have anything in reference to, there's a large amount of money from Public Works that we're supposed to be getting some information from? Do you know if they ever?
I don't have any information on.
City council reports.
Citizens, pleasure and opportunity to come before you this evening. Again, thank you for allowing me to serve. The Boy Scouts meet on the first and third Wednesday. We meet here in this room from 6 to 8:30. Please come out and support. The Prairie Chamber of Commerce meets on the last Thursday of the month. We have our annual meeting this Thursday, January 31st at 12 o'clock at the National Alumni Building. I had the opportunity this last weekend to go to serve on the board with the Texas NAACP, and we had our regional training. There is some, we have a Waller County unit, and the Prairie View chapter of NAACP came to Austin. So there's some opportunities, some things going on. Please come out and support that organization. On Wednesday, I had the opportunity to go to a reception with State Representative Cecil Bell, who represent our area. We hosted him in the conversation because he's the one who's supposed to support us in Austin. And so we've been trying to keep in good relationship, good contact. And so if there's anything that you need in the city that you need to relay to Representative Bell, please let me know. The goal is to have him come to the city of Prairie View, coming here in this first quarter. And also, if you don't know, that the February 24th through the 27th, the Texas Legislative Black Caucus will be having their African American Day at the Capitol, the 24th through the 27th in Austin, Texas. So please let me know if you're going to attend, so I can get you some information.
Good evening. Real quick, I had the opportunity to be the keynote speaker and the Grand Marshal for the MLK Parade program in Hempstead on Monday. I had an opportunity to speak to the lives of the people about on the other side of suffering is redemption. It was a good opportunity to talk a little bit about my life as well as incorporating the great Dr. King and parts of his I Have a Dream speech. It was a great opportunity for me. I was honored and privileged to have been able to do so. Outside of that, I'm thankful for this opportunity to continue to serve and I look forward to the potential of the city and where the city's going to be going forward. Thank you.
No, report at this time.
Okay, well, so for me, as some of y'all already know, the Protect the Village initiative is coming very soon. If y'all don't know, Protect the Village is a 3-week initiative that tries to unite the city through community service, social bonding, and historical preservation. So from February 10th to February 28th, I've had a great team of people working together. So on February 10th, the first day, it'll be Service for the Lord. So the goal is to pick 3 churches in the city of Prairie View, in which, you know, we bring people out to go to service, and after that do community service at that church, whatever needs they need. So that'll be February 10th. Those churches are still being chosen. So if you have a church, you know, that you want us to work with, you know, let me know. Then after that, we're gonna have Community Day of Love, where we will get with we'll partner with Jones Elementary and make gifts for a special group of people in the city. That's a surprise. And then February 16th is going to be the Prairie View Day of Service, where right now I'm a co-founder of the Abundance of Hands Service Ministry, meaning that we try to bring people together, do community service in any way possible, shape, or form within the city. So if you have any areas within the city you think needs attention, whether it's cleanup, whether it is helping out a local business, whether it is cleaning up a church, you know, please let me know, and we will try to gather as much people so that we can come and serve the city. So me and my team, we've been trying to knock on every door in the city of Prairie View. Right now, we've gone through 4 neighborhoods, and hopefully by February 10th, we've hit all of Prairie View. So if we come at your door, smile, say hello, take the pamphlet, and please be a part. Next, I've been working on a community engagement board proposal. We always have citizens coming up, how can we get engaged more? You know, we want to make sure our voices are heard. So this community engagement board proposal is a proposal that I've taken from different cities, mashed together, and want to propose to have the citizens, you know, more involved. I will talk to council and put it on the agenda for next time. And also have a community meeting, because at the end of the day, the city can't be great if the community doesn't have their voice inputted. And last but not least, I got Ms. Johnson sent me a copy of the RFQs for the city engineer, and so I want us to look over that so that we can provide edit and hopefully have a city engineer very soon. But other than that, it's a blessing, it's a privilege to serve this great city. And if you want to get in contact with me, please take my business card so we can talk about better ways to make sure the city goes forward. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kendrick Jones, and it's always a privilege to serve and be a humble servant. Last week, It was kind of fun to get out and do some planting and gardening, which I've never done before. Partnered up with the university, the city, as well as council members. And I'd like to also thank the mayor for allowing us to go out and do a day of service on Martin Luther King Day, where we went to as many as the 14 foreign family houses as we could that day. If we haven't made it around to your house, we will be doing that in Fridays to come. But what we did was we planted and put mulch and cleaned up the fence a little bit. It was pretty cool talking to Mr. Walker about his glory days playing basketball, and it's always a pleasure seeing Miss Anderson Carter. She always has funny jokes and funny stories. Also, got out to join the Exante, seeing that council member Jonathan Rundle had posted him on Instagram. There's people going door to door with the Protect the Village, getting community morale and community spirit going. But it's basically the buying of one another, knowing that, yeah, we may be students, but we still would like to seek wisdom and see how this community basically grew to where it is today. Also, it was already talked about, but I'm supposed to be having a meeting with TXDOT, planning getting our bike lanes, and as well as work on lighting down University Drive. Starting next month, I will be giving our written report on the second Mondays, as well as what I would like to start doing, and which I asked that we put on the agenda, is I think we going places, but we're going places blind. We don't really have a strategic plan as into how we would like to see it look over the next 5, 10, 15, or 20 years down the line. So kind of seeing some of the citizens' input and trajectory upon how they like our community to grow. And as always, thank you guys for this opportunity to serve. And 13. Discussion and
Excuse me, this is my first meeting, but my business is on the agenda, and because you're skipping around, I don't know if I've been skipped.
well,
The BLT grill.
usually at this time, we do not allow citizens to talk,
I'm
but
on the agenda.
I understand now, but bear with me one moment. Your item due to council, giving us knowledge has been moved to the bottom of the agenda after we go into executive session.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you Miss Tina?
Yes, I am.
Exactly.
Nice to meet you.
Discussion and action on resolution of the city council of the city of Prairie, Texas, establishing a policy and procedure for the payment and reimbursement of travel and training of the city council members.
Okay, all the council members should have gotten Exhibit A from Mr. Zach, resolution and a draft resolution. And I know nobody had time enough to read over it, see what he put on it, because I never got my package delivered. So I'm gonna ask that we put this on the February 25th meeting, giving council time enough to look over it.
It has been properly moved to put item agenda 13 on the February 25th meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed have the same right. Motion passed. Item number 14, discuss and possible action on the purchase of wood chipper for public works. Councilmember Run.
I move this item be tabled to the next meeting in the next session.
Second.
It has been probably moved and second that item agenda number 14 be moved to the, that's February 11th meeting, right?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed have the same right. Motion passed. 15, discuss and possible action on creating a process for citizens' comment cards and how to process information.
Council, here's a, I think it's, yeah, just take two. What I submitted, what this is, you know, we received the comment cards the first time in our package. All I did was, I wanted to have a conversation on process. Since the city secretary is the keeper of records, and when people officially come to our meeting and they communicate with the comment card, that should be a part of our record. And so, what I simply did is create an Excel format, not to summarize everything on the card, but just to surmise who they were, just the basic, it says date, name, address, phone number, street, and then whatever it is they talked about. So if a person says, I've come the last 5 months, we can have some sort of connection back to what agenda item, in case people are wanting to get information. Right now, that the process doesn't exist, and so I wanted to find out who we've been putting them, well, we have the cards in our minutes. The question is, do we want any additional things to come out of this? And then the question is, the city secretary would have to update this list. The only reason why we wanted to keep it is that we've had two things. One, we have continuous people come up and talk about the same issue, and then we want to figure out if we're actually addressing the issue. But then the second part is that if people speak and then they say, well, I spoke last month, and then there's no record, is that on us? So
I think it should be included in the minutes, personally. I mean, if you look at
It's
the,
on the video.
yeah, but cause you look at the agenda, right, the minutes are supposed to be, the minutes are basically supposed to be the agenda broken down into action, right? So we have a section on the agenda that says citizens' comments. So on the minutes, citizens' comments, there should be a section that has such and such spoke about whatever.
how much of it do we, so two things, do we want all this, or do we want, what do we want identified?
So I would say, yeah, I agree with Randall's part, like, you know, what they say because it's part of the agenda. But one thing I do like about this, it has a contact information, it says where they're located. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to continue a process of not reaching out to them whatsoever, or giving them some type of answer or a solution. So, I mean, I would either go with this, or go with what Ms. Johnson gives earlier, which was the actual, like, photocopy.
Well, either one, I'm just saying the two issues.
I think that we should possibly put a policy in place.
This is what I brought forward from last meeting, and then for us to have a discussion about it. And so I'm trying to figure out, we don't want to get all involved in this, but do we want to give some direction to the city secretary? Because right now, we don't have, right now, the cards are just dropped in the packet. And so we're saying, a year from now, a year ago, we don't know where those cards are.
Yes,
And so we're saying that, do we now gonna keep the cards, are we gonna archive them? Do we need to look at, even if we did it electronically, right? It's because of looking at this, the same issue that they may have is people writing and knowing what they said and knowing what they put is also probably an issue, so. Councilman Warren?
I think since it's something that council is wanting and recommending, then we need to take care of it, because Ms. Johnson does, I mean, we can't keep hollering Ms. Johnson, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Johnson. I mean, we have two clerks